Hi, good afternoon. Serious subject today. I am 70, so I'm definitely a senior. And what comes along with that, of course, is a long life lived so far, and I intend to live for a whole long time. Um, and I wanted to tell you about me visiting my grandma, and at the time she was maybe 89. She lived with my dad, and I used to go visit them about probably once a month. And when I was maybe 18 or 19, I would go, and the first thing I do is go to grandma's room, and she had a bedroom sitting room, and I would spend an hour or two with her, say hello to everybody, and then go, I'm going to go talk to grandma and I'll be back. So I'd go spend time with her first, and then spend time with the rest of the family, my dad, my stepmom, and my little sister. So I would paint my grandma's nails and do her hair and talk with her and listen to stories and ask her questions about the past. And that's just sort of, I've always been interested in that kind of thing: genealogy, family stories. People, to me, people are like books. Everybody, and I love to read, but everybody is a book. Everybody has their own stories and situations, not only their personality, but situations that made them who they are. And then actually that's what my channel is sort of about. I'm sharing with you my experiences and about a lot of things and my thoughts and feelings and things I do that seem to be working for me. So that's helping people is kind of the goal. And so I'm talking to my grandma, and she's telling me I don't know, I don't remember, it was a long time ago what we were talking about, but I was asking her about friends and family, and she kind of stopped and she said, they're all gone, it's only me. And she lived to almost 91. And so, I mean, years before that, all of her family had died, except for her kids. Her kids were all alive, but everybody that was an adult, besides herself and the people before her, were all gone. And that really struck me at the time. I remember it after all these years. And at the time, I felt like that was important, but I also felt like that I would have that same experience. So it caused me to very much think about that through the years, and I sort of have come up with some ways that it helped to help myself deal with these situations. I've lost all of my nuclear family. My oldest brother just died recently, unexpectedly, really. Um, uh, I've lost everybody, just like my grandpa. There's hardly anybody left in my side of the family. I have a sister, a niece, a sister, and two sister-in-laws, and those are all the people in my side of the family that are still here. And in my husband's family, not only did he leave, but his youngest sister just died again recently. So caused me to think about these things a lot. So my grandma saying that caused me to really think about it. And I ended up being, for part of my career, I had many different things that I've done, but the one that I came back to 20 years ago was being a nursing assistant. And I've always had a heart for seniors, so I spent a lot of time with seniors and helped them and took care of them until such time as it was their time to leave, I guess. but I decided that I wanted to, I've lost people and felt badly that I hadn't done this or hadn't done that. So over time, I sort of developed a way that not only do I help love and honor those people, but it also helps me to deal with the situation as it progresses. So what I came to, because when somebody passes, a lot of times there are many feelings, of course: sadness, regret, um, gee, I wish I woulda, those things. And sometimes you don't have the choice. Sometimes somebody just leaves unexpectedly, and you haven't had the chance to really do for them whatever it was, or feel whatever way you would like to feel. So what I started doing was, when I'd realized that somebody was probably going to be leaving fairly soon. It could have been a year or two before, or it could be, much, I had much less time. But if I do have time, then I will do what I think they would like for them, and I will also do what would make me feel like I had done enough, or to make me feel comfortable, that I had made a difference in some way. So if someone's in the hospital or a nursing facility, and because I worked in them, it doesn't affect me as it might somebody else who's not used to being in that environment, seeing people in wheelchairs, and it's just very disturbing to a lot of people. And I understand. I just got used to it because I started out as a nursing assistant working in a convalescent hospital, which is what we used to call them. Now we call them skilled nursing facilities. So what I do is I will try to visit those people on a regular basis. I mean, depending upon you and what your schedule is and whatever, it could be once a month, or it might be once a week, or anything in between. I think once a week is more than sufficient for most things. This is what I've always done. And I started this with my grandma when I was still just a young person. I bring little treats to them. Ladies, I will bring nail polish and do their nails if they like that. I make an effort to touch them, because people that are in facilities end up not being touched in a loving way. They might, somebody might help them, and, nursing assistants or nurses, but it just, holding somebody's hand for a little while, or just human touch, I think is very important. So I will visit, bring things. That's kind of probably the most important thing, because think about when you're in a facility and you're just laying in bed all day, and so it's nice to have people come and visit. It really breaks the monotony, and laying in bed watching television all day. I wouldn't want to do that. I'm a very active person, but anyway, so I try to do that, and I found that it's not only good for them, it's good for me. It helps me, as I said, to process the situation. And I had an experience recently where I just felt like, okay, well, I did what I could do, and that is helpful. I try to do everything that I think in my head that would be nice, or that I should do, and that is very helpful. And I think when somebody indeed passes, I think that we grieve. Even if I prepared myself, I still grieve, and that kind of stays with me for a while, and as it is right now. And this is why I'm telling you about this. But I think that part of the grief is not, if you have a spiritual background and you believe that these people are going on to a better place, then it almost makes sense that we should be celebrating that they get to level up and move on, and we can do that. But I think that a lot of the grief is that we feel bad for ourselves because they're not in our lives anymore. And if it's somebody really close to you, like my husband, it's like there was a big hole in my life where there had been this person, and now that person's not there anymore. And it's really disconcerting. And somebody who's super close to you, it can take a couple of years to start feeling normal again, like the sun's going to come out and the world's going to go on. And I think with my parents and my husband were the most personally upsetting to me. And with my husband's death, it took me about a year and a half to I'm a person who's naturally happy. And it wasn't that I was depressed, but after he passed, I was overwhelmed, and I felt overwhelmed. There was so much that I needed to do myself. So it took me about a year and a half for the joy to start to bubble up a little bit. And sometimes you have the opportunity to be with somebody and to do all those things, and sometimes it's unexpected. So in those situations, really the best thing that you can do is say, well, I guess I did everything that I could whenever I could, and this is God's will. And it is, because all of us are going to leave. None of us have a choice about that. That's something that will happen at some point. And sometimes we can make better choices in terms of our health, and perhaps we're prolonging our life. Maybe that's what we're supposed to do, and our life is already set before. I don't know. But those are the things that I've done to help myself as well as that person, if they have the opportunity, so that when they're gone, I can recover and move on much more quickly. So food for thought. I don't know, this was an enjoyable subject, but I've had a lot of experience with it, so I thought that I would give you my thoughts. So thank you very much for listening, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.